Okay, it's recording.
Call the meeting to order. 4 o'clock.
All set.
All right. Please join the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag. With one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Make a motion to approve the selectmen's minutes of the September 26th, 2023 meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Did you text Rebecca? Or no?
I texted her now. I told her 4:30.
Well, it is 4:30. Okay, and then make a motion to approve the manifest dated October 19th, 2023, in the amount of $636,924.05.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Most of that was selectman salary.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Was that Elmsbury? What was that?
Both.
Both?
Yeah,
Okay.
school and Elm Street.
You guys do that when I was done?
Rebecca wants to come in.
I think I hear her coming.
She wants to give her a report so that she can get back to her office hours, so she's coming in. Hi, Rebecca. Right on time.
Probably
Yeah,
not
okay.
too long to commute.
You wanted to go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case the people that want to
Yeah.
do my office hours. So you have my report? That's
No.
all. That's my bad.
Oh, okay.
Make a copy.
Here, we can stop it. Thank you.
Yeah. Now we have it.
There you go. Okay.
We're busy in September.
Yeah, and we're busy. We're busy so far this month. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 permits I've written already, and it's only the middle of the month. I've got another half dozen possibly pending. So a lot of them are driveways. So people getting around to getting driveways put in, we're planning to do something later, I guess. But we've had a couple of recent subdivisions in town, and that may be what we're seeing.
The 1296 Province Lake Road, the dumpster, you said,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah, I haven't heard back.
They're cleaning up the property, they gotta clean the house out, she's got it sold, but she has to clean the property up.
Oh, okay, that's useful information. It looked like there was roof repair being done. That was what we had seen from the road, and so wondered if there was something that needed a permit. That
No,
was all. No,
no,
it's just,
she,
clean up.
people finally that will live spot in there, finally got evicted.
Ah. okay,
So, that's just a cleanup, she's doing us a favor.
okay. Talk to you about some point, maybe I'm just get some detail on the closeout file.
No, okay. And the one on Mars, that's the first one on the left. Going in,
Yeah, and he just sent in. He just issued the permit,
oh, okay,
driveway permit, yeah. So.
So you got the health officer involved with the Green Mountain?
Well, it says health officer is,
From the garage to the apartment
yeah, so he had to, okay,
with the septic and everything
yes,
else.
well, he signs off on it, yeah.
and the other two that. The health officer, Clough Road and Moody Road, he signed off on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't issue permit unless he signed off on
yeah,
it, so
okay,
I'm leaving it. Tracking in the notes column, just because it's useful to see. It's a quick way of seeing that it was something that required that as well. I mean, I make it as a note when they first apply for the permit, but I need to get the health officer's signature. On my working copy, and then I figured, well, I'll just leave it there, and I can see that it was something that had a septic component.
Gardella subdivision, you still haven't got the notice of decision?
No, we did get that after I provided this to you, the notice of subdivision, all of that's gone through, I've issued that permit, the one waiting for notice of decision. I believe she's gonna go in front of the ZBA for a variance because her engineer screwed up on the plans for the amount of acreage needed for an ADU. He did the acre and a quarter above the lot that was there as opposed to an acre and a quarter above the minimum lot size needed. So rather than having the plans completely redrawn, we discussed her going to the ZBA and seeing if she could get a variance for the 0.18 acres that she's under for the detached ADU.
I don't have any questions,
Yeah.
Chairman.
no, I have none.
There we go.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Back to my desk.
very good.
No, I still got my office out.
When you sit back down, don't want to?
Not until I go home.
Well, when you get there, enjoy it.
Oh.
Not immediate, but.
At this time, Leo, you said you didn't have anything,
No,
Chris. You just want to give an update?
Yep, just, I'll be real quick. Elm Street shouldering is gonna take place Thursday and Friday. Had a request from the Lost Valley Association to fix pothole. So with cold patch, it doesn't interfere with the roads, they're gonna go ahead and do that. That's about it, because I can't remember the other things I said there.
Oh, okay. I just happened to notice that next meeting's on Halloween night. You guys, you know what's going on Halloween? Are you having trick or treating? We usually set hours, but
yeah,
I mean, last year, I don't think they even went out.
Well, I know we're doing this, the
Halloween parade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be able, but if you, I mean, you can set something up. You know.
Well, I mean, we usually say like 5 to 8 on Halloween night.
Yep, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll have at least 2 of us on anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know there's trunk or treat going on somewhere.
Usually
Yeah.
office do that.
Yeah,
Down at the church,
I think most people go to that.
it's pretty popular, yeah.
Okay.
I wish we had parents fix. I think there's something, isn't there something going on with this?
Say what?
Isn't there something going on?
Having it at the school, and we're also having it at the, we're having some stuff for the kids at the library.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay.
What do you have at the school, Steve? Trunk or treat?
They're having a trunk or.
Oh, good.
That's what I thought. So.
Okay, good, alright,
Okay.
yeah, what time's that gonna be at?
What's that?
What time is that gonna be at?
I have no idea, I just know that they're doing it. I think that's right, I think it's like right after school,
So is that what the parade is for? Cause I know we're doing that.
could be.
Cause I'll plan on being there. Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Make sure you dress up.
I will. He already did.
Do we want to set hours in case somebody wants to trick or treat or no?
Do we need to set hours or?
5:15.
You want us to set hours? They can reason.
Maybe it's safe to do that, you know, I think it's.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. You know, if someone's out.
So 5 to 8 will work
Yeah,
again.
no,
Okay.
yeah, we'll put it on our Facebook page.
All right.
When, yeah, we need more stuff.
I was good, I was gonna walk for the school to.
I think that's the parade. I think that's the parade.
That's the parade. I don't know what the logistics of it are yet. The principal just asked if we'd be there to participate.
Yeah.
I'm planning on doing it. The chief and I are. I haven't heard from her what the logistics are yet. I'm waiting for an email back.
Okay.
Okay, VT. You're up.
All right. 27 calls for the month of September, seems to be a pretty steady number. Year to date, we're only at 263, which is significantly down from last year, so it's been a much slower year so far, which I guess is good. Of those, we had 17 medical calls, a tree down, 4 fire alarms, 3 motor vehicle accidents, a carbon monoxide incident, and a mutually building fire.
What was that, mood train?
So,
And I see you transported one.
we did transport.
Was that your first one?
That's number 2.
2? Yeah.
Where you transport to?
That one went to Huggins.
Well, there was 4 at the high watch.
Are you doing maining the station during the day?
I've actually, with the state of the budget, I've limited it down to 1 person per day for the remainder of the year, so. Compare some of the money that we have remaining, and with that 1 person a day, we're filling just about every day, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thanks for the help on the budget.
Yeah, thanks.
On that note, I'm sure you guys saw the bill, engine 3 went for its DOT inspection this year. Both sides, leaf springs were completely blown apart, ball joints were blown apart in front of it. So all of that was required to be fixed, it was a little over $4,000. So that was certainly something unexpected. Can't really say I'm surprised. So. That obviously that failed inspection for that, so it had to be fixed.
It's been quite a money pit.
It has been, it absolutely has been. We have another issue with the truck now where occasionally it decides it doesn't want to start. The axis has got no power, we've put a voltmeter to it, it's got 14 volts, should be starting no problem. Wiggle the wiring harness under the dash and start up just fine. So knowing that we can wiggle the wiring harness. We're operating that way with it, unfortunately. I'm send it in next year and have that wiring harness torn apart, but
Got a short somewhere.
we're operating that way for now and it's still working, so I'm hoping to not, under this budget, have to send that in. Then it's gonna be a costly repair.
Where do you have it fixed?
It's gonna have to go to Lakes Region Fire Apparatus, who built the truck. They're gonna have to get into diagnostics of their main wiring.
And how's the old police cruiser, is that stripped yet? It's out back, so, okay,
They're ready for the auctions.
so we'll have to advertise those. Set up a sealed bid or auction or whatever,
How many vehicles we got in here?
3.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get dinged for 5 motorcycles. License.
I have no questions.
I did meet with FEMA this week on the July rainstorm, so that process is underway. This one should be pretty quick. All the documents that we had to do for the last one still count for this one, so things should be pretty quick. Kayla and I met with the gentleman from FEMA, it's the same guy again too, so that's helpful. We've started already putting in some of the documents, and I just got another pile of bills, so we'll continue to put those in. As soon as you have an estimate, I need that.
I want to ask if you heard me say that, so.
Yeah, so he'll do a site inspection and inspect it, and basically, I'm guessing they're gonna reimburse us whatever the estimate is, up to that much, so. We're putting that one in, the last storm, the last December storm that we put in for, we should hopefully be seeing that anytime. I checked in with him while he was here, he got back and said it's in the state's hands at this point, so.
Yeah,
We're much closer than we were, so
it's still government though.
it is still government.
Can you roll the ball joints and leaf springs into this payment thing? We can finish answering a call,
Yeah, probably could.
wash out.
Yeah.
I would try to.
If that wasn't on camera, I'd be.
Then you
Oh,
put up the signs, you know?
So before this stack of bills, which is quite a stack, it was up to 18,000 just from Evans. So. This is quite a stack too, so. Should be a decent one.
Probably be 3 times that for Molly Philbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ed, nothing more. You good?
Just real quick, without getting into all the details and stuff like that, bad accident last weekend, everybody doing okay?
Everybody's good. We did a pretty constant stress debriefing, so. We had that. Everybody's going on.
Okay,
Very, very tragic accident.
that's all I had.
Okay. Very good, thanks, CT. Chief DeShane. You're up next.
Thank you for checking them on us, Chris.
Yeah.
Accident, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Got extra copies up here if anybody wants them as usual. All right, monthly stats for September, were calls for service for 211. There were 3 arrests, 46 motor vehicle stops, 4 motor vehicle accidents. I did add a category to this, I think I've probably interested in the K9 deployments. So since Sergeant Eldridge has graduated his school beginning of September, he's had 8 K9 deployments, which is actually quite remarkable to this area. Those were anything from drugs to tracking to article searches. So he's already being quite active with Jessie, so she's doing very well. So if you have any questions on that in particular, I'll have him speak to that if you have anything. But as far as our numbers for the month, though, are there any questions on any of that or? No, okay. Real quick, the next thing I want to address. Ospey Police had an incident on October 13th that Senior Patrolman Baker went over and assisted them with. He received a letter of commendation from the Ospey Police, so I'd like to just read that to you guys and make it part of the record. And I have a copy that I can give you. It says, "Dear Chief DeShane, I am writing to advise of the great work Officer Baker did to help the Ospey Police Department with the standoff that was on October 13th, 2023. Officer Baker showed true professionalism and willingness to help with the situation that was rapidly unfolding. The subject inside had stated to family that he would shoot up the house and anyone who comes inside. Officer Baker initially helped with the perimeter and was able to contain the situation. Finally, when the decision was made to breach to try to apprehend the perpetrator, Officer Baker was in the stack of officers to make entry, showing the courage and bravery that's expected from a professional police officer. The Sergeant Oswald, I believe he's sergeant, patrol.
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you, Chris. Extends his sincere gratitude and appreciation for the assistance. So I'm very proud of Officer Baker for that. It just goes to show you guys have a very professional police department. So, and it's being noticed.
Thank you.
So,
Relay out congrats to him.
what's that?
Relay out
I
congratulations.
certainly will. And that is good. So that's all I have
Okay,
at this time.
the money from Germany.
Yeah, we are.
I'm keeping on it
Tyler's on.
every week. I'm trying.
Twice a week, maybe?
I'll do it 3 times if you like. Every week I'm staying on it. I'll keep you guys updated
Okay.
weekly. I'll give you a call, Lenny, if I hear anything else, but I'm trying.
How's your German? Is it getting better?
I'm all right. Probably figure out to say some harsher things.
Yes.
Probably.
Go let them pay you with Greg Schmack's.
Chuck, you have a question?
Chief,
Yes, sir.
then on Saturday, I had 3 different people, 3 different occasions come up to me and say, hey, I got this suspicious activity the other night at my house doing this, or I saw something today doing that. I know none of them are calling the dispatch center.
Mhm.
Do you have any kind of material or thoughts on how we can help educate our citizens? And when they see something, rather than just talking about it, throw it on Facebook, only from the dispatch center and report it, and how important that is for you folks to gather that information from a reporting standpoint?
Yeah, we could probably get, try to get the message out there a little bit, maybe actually through Facebook or something like that, put some information out on that. Like I heard, I think you just said or something.
Say something,
Say something, it's so true, especially in today's day and age. Like I've said, I think I've said it here many times, we're a 3-man police department. So 2.5 really. You guys are our eyes and ears, really. So it's, if you guys see anything,
We just need the right way to do a call dispatch. We gotta be trained to do that. It's like,
the big 911.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know why.
people call 911 for all sorts of things. Like, oh, well, nobody's dying, so I shouldn't call 911. Well, that's not true. That's
That's
not
what they
true.
need to get
If
across.
somebody's out and they're causing a road hazard, you can call 911 for that, and it's gonna get us there pretty quick. The direct line to the sheriff's office. I mean, that's even quicker,
Right.
but.
And I would like to thank the Freedom Police Department for their activity Saturday night on Snow Road.
Okay, yes.
With the incident we had up there with the sheriff's department.
Yep.
and Freedom, and with their dogs.
Yeah.
That little mutt really knows how to do some practice.
I will make sure they know. I will make sure they know. Cute little thing. Anything else?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
I got nothing.
Okay. Very
We
good.
got a phone call to make.
Thank you.
What time is it over there?
Brush up.
That's right, you guys.
You're asleep right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're asleep right now.
Yeah.
That's perfect time.
Wake 'em
I
up.
was gonna say.
By the way, I was asleep the other night when you.
I know, Lenny.
You didn't expect me to answer, did you?
Yeah, I kind of did.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to call my house as well.
I thought we did.
No, call myself.
Oh, I did? Yeah.
Call my house number, I would answer.
That was the night of the accident.
Yeah.
Mm.
Figured I should probably let somebody know about that. All right, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You say.
Thanks.
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 All right, George ain't here, aren't you? You ready?
No.
Yeah, put it in one of them. Or with, just put it in. Caitlin can put it in. Oh, fine, yeah.
Does David have a copy?
Dave, where is Dave? Over there. You got copies of all these?
I don't have the ZBAs.
You know?
Just take a copy of it. Well, you guys do that. That works too, yeah.
All right, explain your secretary.
The secretary?
Yeah,
I think you're looking at planning, right?
no, ZBA.
Never mind, sorry.
It was,
700.
yeah, you didn't put in what you wanted, I mean, what you requested. This is all last year's budget.
Yeah, it's not, there, we don't have nothing.
Yeah, we wasn't, the only thing was, well, we're not even changing that. The postage was the only question that I had. Was, you guys were saying the postage is all going to go through the office. and
Right.
You're saying we have to pay for the postage.
No, was it the land use boards? Yeah, the land use boards were paying for their own postage.
Okay, so when we do an application, we take in money
Yeah,
but we never see it. So it goes to the office, and I'm assuming it goes in the general fund.
yeah,
So.
yeah.
If it goes into the general fund, why isn't the office paying for the postage instead of having us pay for the postage? I mean,
Well,
we get the money in for that postage, and we do send out the notices, all that, but.
the applicant is paying postage.
Right,
Yeah,
we never see that.
yeah,
I mean, when he comes in to the office,
right.
and then it goes into the general fund. One
Yeah.
could argue that the office budget doesn't see it either because it goes in the general fund. It's not like the revenue is going into the executive line. It goes into the general fund as a whole, and through taxation, we all get our budgets. Kind of the same argument I had with the planning board a little bit. It's the only time I, said anything at the planning board meeting was, they had the same argument. Well, how come we have to pay for this? How can we, because we get the application money, we never see that money. Well, the executive line doesn't see that money either. It goes in the general fund. So it's not like we're making money, off from you guys. No, we're not making any money. The town's not making money. I know, but I'm saying it. The way it comes out, it balances out. So it's zero, and in the end, it's just like it goes into the general fund, so you don't see it. It's more of a tracking and accountability. Simply put, that's all it is. Who's responsible for what revenue in and expenditure out when it comes to land use stuff? So, okay, so anyway, yeah, I didn't even fill that out, but same as it was last year. We didn't change.
So your level fund and everything.
$3,131 or minus the 350?
No, plus that 350.
Plus the 350?
Yeah, leave the 350 in there.
Okay.
The 31 includes the 350, right? I'll make a motion to approve 4191 zoning for $3,131.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How much did you say?
$3,131. George still isn't here. Don't speak to the devil, there he is.
Have a seat, George.
You're up, George.
Am I up now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you.
5 o'clock, right? So I'm still on.
Yeah.
All right, so. I'm going to present the planning board budget. I emailed a copy. So did Caitlin get that got out to you?
Yeah.
So there are a few things that I also had a little explanation note letter thing. There are a couple of line items that go on our budget because they come out of our account, but the town gets reimbursed for those. So in this case, it's professional services, that was $4,120. That's like the North Point that had to do with Mina, and
Yeah.
North Point will reimburse the town. But since we're
Mina reimbursed the town, not North Point.
correct, sorry, yes. But also just, we did put approximately $2,500, or we did put $2,500 in there that we probably won't need, but unfortunately, we're getting more complex cases, and if there's like a big ticket item that like costs $4,000, the applicant usually pays for that. So we would still be charging the applicant. But if there are any enforcement issues, and there may be some enforcement issues coming up this year, we can't bill that to, you know, whoever we're enforcing that. If we need to get like a wetlands delineated by a professional, you know, if an applicant comes, then we make them pay for it. But if we're in an enforcement situation or something like that, then then the planning board will have to pay for it.
Understood.
I don't really expect us to hit that number, but we want to be safe on that. So then I'll kind of go back to the beginning to the advertising. The advertising, we put $700 because that's probably going to be combined postings for that applicants will cover a lot of that. So we put that in there, that we don't expect that that's actually what the town's going to pay as a total. But that's what will come out of our budget. Most of that will get reimbursed to the town, but there are, you know, when we have a hearing for zoning amendment changes, right? That comes out of our budget. So there are mailings that we will be paying for. But it won't be that full $700. Most of that, it'll probably cost $700 total, but most of that will get, the town will get reimbursed for on the filing fees when we do those. So the association dues, I don't know why last year we didn't have anything. That might have been because of COVID, but normally we do Lakes Region Planning Commission. And they provide the town with legal services like advice. And they also could help us in offsetting any sort of professional services if we need their input. And for example, they did a lot when we did the master plan, and if we need technical, not specific questions, but general questions about rules and regulations and stuff, they've proven to be very useful. So we want to have in the budget to pay that's just for LRPC, Lakes Region Planning Commission.
George, can I interrupt you real quick? Because
Yeah.
you just reminded me to look at a note from our last meeting. We looked at the most recent budget versus actual we had that evening, and it showed that no money had been spent of the planning board's line for dues. But I know that we paid an invoice to Lakes Region Planning, Caitlin, this is more directed toward you, if you could look in to see if that got posted to the wrong thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's something we've been doing.
Because I'm almost positive we paid the bill for Lakes Region Planning, and that should have gotten posted to planning board for that $1,300. I don't think any of the other boards pay due to Lakes Region Planning, do they?
No, I don't think so.
I'll look right into it tomorrow.
So it definitely should come from our line item and not from anybody else.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. Clarified. So the books and publications, again, the $220 is basically for the RSA books for the board members. Computer services, we left that at $1 just in case. We don't anticipate anything for this year, but just in case going forward, maybe in a year or two, if something changes and we need that. So we left that at $1. Mileage, we also left at $1. Not many people have been going to any like workshops or anything, and we don't bill mileage for doing other stuff. So, but again, just in case a couple of years down the road, we find that people are driving around a lot to sites or something like that, that might change, but for now. We don't anticipate any expenses. Same thing with office equipment and supplies. What limited office we get just from the office here, so we don't have a lot of expenses related to that.
So would you be agreeable to zero that?
We could zero that. The only reason we had it at $1, it might be something that in the future, especially with the administrator, depending what we're doing. We might need that in the future, but we don't need it this year. So, I mean, if we wanted to zero that, we just didn't want.
We can leave the line there, but zero.
Yeah, we
It's
don't.
not, it's not like a budget line thing that closes out if you don't.
Yeah,
carry
then
something
we can
forward.
zero that. We can zero all three that are $1. As long as we can kind of keep that line for future reference.
Okay,
But we don't anticipate any costs associated to any of those. Again, the postage we have as $800. Most of that would get reimbursed to the town. We based on our 2022 of 718. I didn't do an exact breakdown, but I'm gonna guess out of that 718, probably $600 was what was given back to the town. So the $800 includes, most of that would be reimbursed to the town.
postage will be going up.
And that was the reason for the.
Yes, exactly. So that's kind of why we were doing that. Again, I explained the professional services, we're hoping not to have to use that. It's a really hard thing for us to predict because we just don't know the nature of the applications. The past 2 years, our applications have become more complex and they've become a little more
Expensive.
yes, just for a lot of reasons. And again, we don't have any control over that as a board. Obviously, we always try to bill the applicant whenever it's the, the recording fees. Again, there's not much that we have to record. So that could also be zero now. The applicants pay for recording fees. And we don't really record anything. So the big ticket increase is the salary for the secretary. And we've got Nate Fogg working for us. When he originally started, I spoke with Teresa Swanick when she was the chair. She had spoken with Audrey about what to pay people. And Audrey at that time said $17 was kind of like an entry level. And it was the type of thing where if it works out, if you're not sure if it's going to work out and they're just starting, $17 was what Audrey had recommended to Teresa. Nate has been with us since before COVID. So during COVID, everybody was kind of working from home and the hours were all weird. So we weren't really paying him more because he was just doing a lot of stuff remotely. But now that it's not remote, he's got to come up from Wakefield. And the board, he saves this town money because he'll do a lot of administrative work. For example, even in the Mina case, where if we can't do it as board members because we're directly involved in decision making, we can't do some of those things. And if Nate can't do them, then you've got to hire a paralegal from the law firm and the town will get billed for it. So in some ways, Nate is paying for his own weight. But we also think that based on his experience, he knows a lot about land use and $25 an hour is what we think is more appropriate to pay him, and we don't want to lose him. And I think he's also working with the ZBA as well. So I think he's an asset to the town, and I think the work that he does also saves the town money in having other people have to do administrative things that they're probably not as qualified as him for, and we'd have to still pay somebody. Part of that $6,000 is also Barbara in the clerk's office had started with Teresa the to reorganize some of the planning board paperwork. The challenge is that in the past, the planning board went by the name of the applicant. So we have applications that were like 20 years ago. When you look them up, you first have to figure out who owned it. It didn't go by lot, map and lot. So what Barbara was doing, again, this was before COVID, she was doing switching stuff over from name to map and lot so that anybody could reference it, including Rebecca. If Rebecca has to go and look at something, it's difficult for her too. So we had kind of put $1,000, part of that $6,000 is $1,000 to either Barbara or Nate to continue updating those from last name. It's about half done. So
How far back are you going? The files.
I believe they were going to everything we have.
Okay.
So, and the other thing is that some of those map and lots were different because we had a different tax map 20 years ago. So it's just a lot of legwork and it gets really hard. I think Rebecca would also probably be in favor of that happening.
HDC is doing the same thing.
What?
The HDC is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing for the town to be doing. Also in Nate's, it's the line item is not just more expensive because we're paying Nate $25 an hour. It's also because the minutes have been done by board members and we weren't paying anybody for that. And now Nate can do the minutes, so he's going to be working more, so it's not just that his hourly rate is higher, he's actually going to be doing the minutes. And it shouldn't have been that board members were doing the minutes in the first place, because it's hard for the board members to focus on the meeting, and it's just not proper minutes taking. So that's why that is significantly larger, but I do think that it's a benefit to the town.
George, if I can interrupt you real quick.
Sorry about that.
Sounds like Michigan College.
How about that for timing, huh? Correct me if I'm wrong, Barbara agreed or would be hired at the same rate she currently makes.
Yes, if Barbara does it, and I spoke informally with Barbara, my understanding is she was paid at the town rate, and then she would just do it when after she finished up,
Hours.
Yeah, after hours type thing, and because our challenge, even for the minutes, we just couldn't get anybody that was even interested, even at $20 an hour, just no one wanted to do it. So, but it works for her. I know that she's interested in that, and Nate may be interested in that as well, depending. And then the final thing is the workshop and seminars. They were kind of free during the COVID because everything was kind of remote, so there weren't really any payments. Even some of the ones where you're doing them online now, they're charging again. So it's not free even if you don't show. And we have a lot of new members, and we have some interest maybe in some of the members, and the board felt that it would be good. I forget, Chris, Grace was saying it was like
It was $175 for one.
for one class.
That's coming up.
Yeah, so we were thinking maybe, I know that in the past Grace has gone to those, and we're also thinking maybe if any of the new board members want to do those, it would just be 2. On average, before COVID, I know Grace was doing one and Elaine sometimes went, so we usually had about 2 people go to them.
And last year you didn't use any.
Yeah, that's because again, it was kind of the LRP, all the different organizations, they still did it online for free. So I think we did some of them just remotely, but now they've changed the policy, it doesn't matter. And like I was saying to Chris, at least you go, you get the lunch.
It's all about the free lunch.
It was a good lunch back in the day. But anyway, so that is our budget. And let me just review my notes.
So your total would be 11,850.
Yes, I forgot to total it for myself, so that would be.
Is that minus the $4?
Yes, minus the four,
What's it come up to?
11,850.
And again, out of that, probably. 750 would come back in postage and in the advertising.
That's, I'd say not knowing.
Yeah, and again, also with the professional services. It's really hard for us to anticipate that, but it could get up to $2,500. Like again, like I said, especially if we have to enforce. Because then we can't bill it to the applicant.
And to go along with what Rebecca said earlier, when she's given her report, and she said that there are an increase in subdivisions going on. This is all part of it, because we have to raise it before we can spend it, so we have to put it in the budget, even though we get reimbursed.
Right.
There has to be money there to get reimbursed for, so.
We've been a lot busier, so.
Oh, yeah.
And the complexity of some of the, like, it's not just like one lot being subdivided in half. So we're doing like conservation subdivisions, we've got some other things, and we're doing more, site plans as well. So.
Dave, you got a question?
Yeah, first off, I would suggest you keep. The computer services, I agree with the 0, the mileage. You definitely want to keep that as a 1, because that goes in the budget to actual. It shows up in the line item, it's easier if it than the 0. So I would definitely keep that as the 1 and recommend that as the 1, and a recording fee. That's up to George, how he wants to handle that, if he thinks he wants to get rid of it. But if you even think you have a chance of recording fees again, which you have had in the past.
Yes,
keep it at $1.
I agree, we
Keep
made.
it at $1. So
that's for transparency, David, that's for transparency through the budget versus actual?
Right.
yes,
Yes.
Okay,
and it's consistent with what we normally been doing throughout the whole budget to actual.
So
So your computer services would stay with the $1, and your mileage would stay with the $1. Your office equipment would go to 0,
and the
and
recording
your
fees,
recording fees would stay at $1.
Yeah, there may be something that would,
And I ended up with a total of 11,870, not counting the dollar. So that would be
Okay.
11,871. Can you check that again, Liam?
I am checking it out.
Quiet as a mouse.
yeah, no, I didn't.
so 11.
I was confused. When I logged in, I didn't have a chance to sit and start talking.
11,871 or 11,870 with the additional dollar?
Yes, 11,871.
Yeah, that's what I got.
So $1 on the computer. $1 on the mileage,
and
not
$1
0,
recording fees,
and $1 recording fee.
should come up with 3. Not a 1. Right?
80. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I had those at 0, and we had, I just was wondering if you're gonna put those other 2 back in, I wasn't sure. Yes, you're right, man. 73.
You guys, got any discussion, any more discussion? You agree, 11,873? Okay. Make a motion, 4191 planning board. A budget amount of $11,873.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
Alan's not here, is he?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay. He's up next.
Coming.
So,
I'm gonna go out, I'll let him grab the front seat. Yeah, you can go opposite over here.
You've got it at that speed, so. Right, run. Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Well,
Tried to.
I'm right up.
Pull it up, so you have a desk, by all means, go ahead. Make you a little more comfortable.
Okay, explain yourself here.
You already did.
We zeroed everything out, so
I'm gonna, yeah, I'm sure.
you're gonna have to fight for everything.
Which one are we doing first?
I think I brought the wrong folder.
Town clerk. Town clerk first.
Yeah, excuse me for 1 second.
Yeah.
Right back.
Dr. Peter.
Wrong folder, wrong red folder.
That's like. It's a very good folder, you know.
Is deputy, is that 3%?
I'm looking for all the bills. They're in my drawer, in the drawer where. Go if you see like there, two drawer. To be right in there. Okay. Okay. I usually get the whole folder, that's why I asked them.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
So for the most part, I believe the budget that I presented was close to the one from the year before. The increases that we did have, number one was salary. And number two was the added elections. So we're looking at 4 elections.
Yeah, but last year budget was 800. This
Correct.
year it's 2,800. That's a big jump for one more election.
We're gonna have 4.
Yeah.
And if it's 800 an election,
Well, we have one.
Last year, yeah, that's right, yeah, last year we only had one, so. Okay. I get you.
again, whatever you need to
I
budget
just-
for that's fine. I mean,
No,
obviously,
I just figured it.
defer to you, whatever you think is appropriate for that, but
That one come out to 13 then. No, I forget, last year we only had one election.
Was it a report this year?
and the other increase we did have was obviously in postage. And speaking with Dave Strauss, it was easier to maintain our billing through postage when it comes to sending out our tax bills. So there was an increase in that also. But rather than go into,
Well, the postage stayed the same as last year.
but again, we've had increases as far as what it cost us to do through
Right,
Minuteman.
but it didn't,
You didn't increase it.
but you didn't increase it,
Okay,
stayed the same.
so I think what I, so
1575?
I have 3,200 as far as tax collect for postage.
Yeah. The increase was on the tax collector side.
Oh, okay, well.
So we're trying to focus.
I'm
on-
sorry, which,
Yeah, town
which
clerk,
budget?
Town clerk.
4140.
Yeah.
So we're on 4140, that's fine.
Yeah.
I apologize. And like I said, the other thing as far as salaries, I'd like to see the deputy brought up to a fair and equitable salary as far as what she's doing. Just equitable as far as cross department,
Nina.
17 and change, I believe.
You're looking at. Increase to.
She was 1751, I was looking to go into 1908. And that's still under what communities around us are paying for a deputy clerk tax collector.
And it was 17 what?
It was 1751. 1908.
9%? Oh, but you could 13.
Hold on the other one.
Oh,
No, but again, I'm just trying to, again, it's still less than surrounding communities are paying for that position.
okay, and then you bumped up your salary.
I did. Again, that's still far, far from what surrounding communities are making, but just to start bringing it in line. Again, not even myself, but if at some point to retain people, we're gonna have to. Unfortunately, I think we've had it very well for 20 years with Deanna,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, no doubt.
So what was your bump up in salary?
I went from 2265 to 25.
Um,
That was a 15%.
I I get a thing that raising Barbara up to 19. When she submitted her resignation, right? So you're gonna start with somebody all new,
I am. I am.
so I don't know if the inexperience would be worth the 19. What do you guys think?
You're talking about the salary.
For the deputy, yeah.
Which is 14.82, right?
Yeah.
Or 19.
Well, 19 an hour,
Okay,
he's bumped, it was 17.51 to 19.
yeah, but then also. Like Alan said, you gotta get qualified people.
Right. But I mean, if you're moving a person that's qualified for that, what do you move for a person that's not qualified? That would be kind of a slap to the person that was doing it, I think. That's just my opinion.
Well, unfortunately, either way, we have to fill the positions.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, even if it was a gradual. Step raise as far as,
You know, hire somebody off the street to replace a experienced person and pay them more.
well, I guess it's two options. You either hire somebody off the street at $15 an hour, and that's what you're gonna get, right? Hopefully with a competitive salary, we get somebody that's experienced. Does that happen?
It's the unfortunate thing in municipal government that happens every single year. Somebody retires from any given position in municipal government, and the next year to fill that position, you're paying that next person the same more
That's
wages.
what you had.
If you
understand.
want to get somebody to do that job, I always use this argument. Sorry, I always use this argument that right now you can go and push a cart around, not give anybody directions to where salsa is, because you can't be bothered because you're doing somebody's grocery order and you're getting paid $15, $16, $17 an hour. And we're expecting somebody to come work for a municipality. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that's a benefits position.
No,
So,
Just,
um,
just to add, we had $17 an hour for a minutes taker. And
No taker.
no taker. And the one taker that we got. Was
bad.
yeah. So just that's for minutes.
Right.
even an entry level, I
I don't have the problem with 19.
you're stuck with an entry level. If you don't give a comparable salary, but do we want to strive for an entry level? No, we want to strive for somebody that we don't necessarily have to train all the way, and you're not going to do that for peanuts when they can go get a job someplace else. Not that job, putting groceries away isn't a good job, don't get me wrong, but
there is a learning curve with this position, obviously, with Avatar.
Yeah.
And like the says, so, I mean, that's obviously the biggest part of it, getting comfortable with Avatar, learning the system. That's how our entire office runs. So, and it does take time.
Then you have 4 elections.
And then we have
So
4
they gotta
elections.
hit the ground running.
Correct.
That's still this year.
I'm okay with it.
You're okay,
Yeah,
you're okay,
I'm okay.
I'll go along with it.
That date.
Dave,
Just remind the switchboard, because it's your first real major salary, that the 39-13 rule that we've been hitting usually every year. We have to remind everybody every year, they can't get the raise until the town approves it in March. For the 39-13 rule, that's why there's a note on the bottom of your page there. So they're gonna be paid what you have approved, and you can increase them too if you wanted to, but typically what you've been doing in the past is they stay at their current rate until the town meeting. In town meeting, when it gets approved, from then on, they get paid for the other 39 weeks of the year, that amount. So you budget whatever you're gonna give for an increase for 39 weeks, not this total amount, which is for 12 months.
Why can we not do the total amount for 12 months and do a retroactive after January 1 if it's voted on a town meeting?
It's never been done, Chris. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that's, I don't know what your personnel policy dictates already, but every select board has always done this.
Yeah.
Since I've been.
I understand that, and we used to roll snow on the roads with a team of horses.
Yeah, we used to be in debt all the time too.
Exactly.
So.
We're in debt, or we had millions of dollars in the bank account, not have millions of dollars of excess money and taxpayers' money in the bank account.
I'm not gonna waste my time.
all right, you back to 4140 election.
Yes, sir.
So would that total stay 49,422.40?
Correct.
We didn't change anything.
No, it's.
Okay, so make a motion to 4140 election and registration town clerk. An amount of $49,422.40.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded,
Thank you.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 $41.50.
Yeah, moves us on 4150, tax collector. Same thing here. Brought up the wages on the deputy and the tax collector. Everything else pretty much stayed the same.
Correct.
You still have an assistant?
So what that money has been used for is how we pay Deanna when she has the opportunity to come in and help us.
She's
So
still
that
coming in.
we've reached out. Yes, I'd say yes, she's still coming in. Yes,
Probably not as often.
correct.
Okay.
But that gives us some leeway as far as the office goes
Yeah.
for training and having that added assistance. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, we may have used part of that when Barbara was using extra hours too.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
it's just a matter of, like I said, just leeway.
Yeah.
Does he have to charge anything to it?
Again, I think that was coming out of 4140 right now.
Oh, sorry, you did charge $8.56. Take that back. Nothing out of 41.
Anybody want to argue any of this? Chris? Leo?
No.
You're good?
Thank
Okay,
you.
make a
Again,
motion 4150. Financial administration tax collector in the amount of $47,417.40.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Good job, Alan.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Elaine, you're next.
Should have had him leave the chair.
Good roll up, one of them more comfortable ones.
I'm not staying long.
Okay,
Don't want to get too comfortable.
Yeah, it doesn't, I don't see any big issues with your budget. You, Chris?
I do not.
Okay.
Just a question, the bank charges thing, that's just,
There shouldn't be any.
Okay.
All of the charges should be either rolled back to anyone who has insufficient funds, they get the additional $15 charge. The invoice cloud payment comes out of, I believe, out of the tax budget, but I don't know exactly where all that's going. But I'm not seeing that in our treasurer fees. And there are no bank fees unless we do something bad.
so the same conversation like David mentioned earlier, that isn't gonna change. The budget versus actual for clarification, so it's okay with that one going away.
The only time that line was ever used, and we discussed that a while ago, was to purchase paper checks. That's
Yeah.
what that line was used for.
And that comes right out of the Board of Selectmen budget now
Okay.
for. There's money that was charged to it, but. In the previous year, but I have no idea. Nothing so far.
What's the dues get us?
The dues, that's for the New Hampshire Government Financial Officers Association. It's a group of individuals, tax administrators and tax collectors and town treasurers, where we can reach out to and ask questions about how do you do this at your town, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I know this isn't budget related, but did you ever follow up on the trust funds? Maybe moving them to,
Those are not mine. to
no,
move,
but I mean, you were gonna
um,
check with the bank to
To
see,
see if
because
they-
Bank in New Hampshire at one time couldn't.
they wanted to link them all together.
Yeah.
I'll have to follow up with them again
Yeah.
to see if they can still do
Just
that.
one.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it.
At one point, they had said yes, but we've moved the money out of the repurchase and into the ICS account, which now gives us 2.5% interest instead of the 0.202 or whatever it was we were getting before. Which, by the way, we've earned $16,000 in interest since we
Excellent.
moved that in May.
Nice.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Make a motion 4150 treasurer in the amount of $4,650.
Second.
Moving to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
You can go on for whoever's next.
Library.
Library.
We need to come back here. It's gonna go for that one. No. That's okay. Oh, you've got the handouts. Oh, good. So I want to start out. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Sarah, who's our new library director.
Met her once,
Well, now you've
Right.
met her twice.
Yeah.
There you go.
dropped off something.
Who's, oh yeah. She has been working like crazy. So she's been quite an attribute for the library. So let's see, I'll start off. I can give you an overview, or I can just, if you want to ask questions, I'm not sure what's the best thing for how you want to do this. We're coming in asking for a 3% increase, which we've really had been flatlined for about 5 years, except for the bump up when we moved. Remember last year with the switch to the fiber?
Yeah.
We increased the budget for that
Yeah.
to accommodate that last year. But other than that, we've been flatlined for 5 years. So, and sort of like Ellen was talking about, for hiring, that's where we need to place the money. I, knock on wood, think we have finally found a part-time person, which we'll be voting on in the next day or two, but it's hard to get good help, as they say. So that's where
That was
we'll
your
be
only-
applying the
That was your
3%.
only increase, was it?
It was.
Salary.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
We did get a number of grants last year that helped to offset some of the extra expenses. Gave us the opportunity to do things that we may not have been able to do otherwise. We got a grant from the American Library Association to help pay for a new website, which is underway, which is fabulous. And also from that same grant, we have $5,000 to put towards the renovation of the bathroom. They've just reached back out and said they've opened up, they had more funding available, so I don't know if people didn't take advantage of the funding they had before and then can reapply. So we're going to reapply again to see if we can get more money for bathroom updates. We got a grant from the Bank of New Hampshire, from Friends of the Library, and from the Children's Literacy Foundation to help pay for the summer reading program and the Lego camp that we put on, which was great. And then we got grants from the New Hampshire Library Trustee Association so we could attend the conferences. So we tried to maximize any grant we could find in the library, which are
Thank you for
kind
the
of-
time and effort that you put into
Yeah.
getting these grants, Chuck, too. I mean, I know he spent a lot of time.
fingers crossed. We have a number pending. We have
Yeah.
2 pending for the library and a couple for the building. So
Yeah,
I
I
am
know it takes a lot of
optimistic.
hours.
it does, but that's okay. We're getting there.
I have
Um,
no problems with it. You?
No, it's very good. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, all right, make the motion 4550 library. In the amount of $66,213.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Good. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job,
you.
Sarah.
You want to do
Now
that
you got a
point
lot
law?
there.
You want to do that point law if you're sitting right
Yeah.
there, is that under other business?
Yeah, the appointment,
The appointment.
Oh, can we do that? Yeah,
Yes, yeah, do
that'd be
it.
great.
you want to read it quickly, we'll take a look there.
I don't know if I do.
I can just speak
Thank
to
you.
it. I know it
Oh, yes.
by heart. Since I wrote it.
The Effingham Library Board of Trustees is recommending the appointment of Nicole Peralt.
Mhm.
Province Lake Road as an alternate trustee of the library. Nicole is an active library patron, bringing her 2 children weekly to the Children's Story Hour and a member of monthly book club. She has presented great ideas and questions at our board meeting. The board unanimously voted to request this recommendation should be appointed for a 1-year period. Many thanks, Grace. I make a motion to recommend the appointment or approve the appointment of Nicole Peralt for the
Second.
1-year term.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Super. And we have to bring this to you annually, so we can't do a never ending appointment. So we'll be back next year for that.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
You know what will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess we just answered all my questions. You said you know where we'll be.
Oh. We ain't moving anywhere. Yeah. That in the other one. Okay, that brings us to 4152 assessing. Dave, you talked to Caitlin with us about assessing.
About the board of some, usually being the ones that. Yeah.
Yeah, you asked me that question, you were gonna ask Lenny if you wanted Dave in here or not. So typically didn't see him in here, but it's up to you if you wanted him in here.
Oh, that David. I thought she was talking about you. She said David. Oh. I don't know. We don't even know what's going up.
And fill it in. Everything.
The contract is the same, right?
Contract's the same.
Yeah.
Why does it say actual is 0 under last year? Do you know why that? You know the answer to that, Dave? Under the worksheet we got, it says last year, the contract actual was 0.
May have been paid. Late,
Oh, okay.
we had some issues that you remember when you first. To the end of the year with. Things ran over and went into this budget instead of being captured in the 2022 budget.
Gotcha. Yep.
I mean, we obviously know it had to get paid. That's my only best guess. Chris.
So basically. You know, use $2,200 out of 40,000, out of 30,000. It's gotta be paid for assessing. the contract.
Yeah,
Is this the same thing though underneath office equipment and postage? Does that get lifted in the land?
Yeah,
Is this a
the-
land use board too,
No.
assessing?
No.
So that should those be zero?
No, if it's being charged in your budget sheet, it's something that's.
$84.
You agree that would be charged in that budget sheet.
yeah, there's $84.
And
Charge already.
looks at this person reminded me that. We do a carryover every year to come for the 5th year, if Leo remembers, for the 5th year for the complete assessing. So we
Right.
carry money over. So I think what happened is what Audrey probably did was charge it to the carryover line item. Instead of actually the operating budget line item. That's why you're probably seeing this is zero. That's. my
But we have to have it in there.
Is that okay? Or does that need to be corrected? If that's the case.
In 2022, you're not gonna go back.
Oh,
and
yeah. True, yeah,
No,
gotcha.
Yeah, you can't fix it.
I mean, look at the budget to actual, I think if we level funded it,
I think you're good.
would be good.
I agree.
You agree, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion 4152 assessing. In the amount of 39,250.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. All right, what does that bring us? Announcements, you got any announcements? No, okay, I'll open it up, public comment. We do have a non-public with the fire chief scheduled at the end, so we'll do the non-public and nothing more, so after, so. Chuck, you got something?
Couple pieces of information, on the historic town hall project, the level 2 energy audit. Energy audit on-site data collection was done 3 weeks ago. We'll have that report in November. That was the entire odd blower testing and everything of the entire building. And we'll see what they come back with recommendations predominantly for anything that's gonna be efficiency related, could be insulation, could be windows, could be heating systems, could be a number of different things, and Eversource has grant money, which we potentially don't be able to go after for anything that pops up there.
Hey Chuck, how much was covered by Eversource, right, on this?
Not for this grant, this was a Community Development Finance Authority grant, so it was a $3,900 grant. We had to come up with 1,300, they funded 3,900, 1,300's coming out of the historic town hall budget. For that. I did get notification this last week for the 2023 Moose Lake grant. We were approved for the $20,000. It still has to be signed off on by the governor's council, so it's not technically awarded. Can't go out and advertise it yet. I will do the paperwork with Alan because I have to swear and attest and do some other stuff with him. I'll do 2 copies, one to be sent in, and I'll give 1 copy to Caitlin for the files here in the office. The first half of that money, 10,000, should arrive in the December time period this year, and it will be used sometime in the next 2 years. I'll follow up with the selectman's office this week with the front door check that we worked on with the public approval and the $15,000 we were gonna pay. As of last week, they haven't hit the check, but it looks like they changed their address and didn't probably communicate it as well as they should have. So the check may have been sent to the wrong place, and I'll work with the office on that. As a representative for the town to the Carroll County Communications District, we had a monthly meeting last week. They formally set up the different committees. Lo and behold, I'm gonna be on the grants committee. And I'm the chair of the grants committee. And we're gonna be basically going after some municipal grants for operating expenses, 3 to 5 grand is what we really need. Over the course of a year, we don't have staff, but we do have to do things like insurance and some of the other things and mailings and whatnot with what's going on. I'll work with Caitlin with your approval. One of the recommendations that came up out of the group last week was to put the new Carroll County Communications District website linked off the town websites. So I want to set that link up on our homepage, click it, takes you over to that, because it's a whole page of education material that anybody that's wondering what's going on within Carroll County, within the 15 towns, what's going on with broadband in New Hampshire relative to the grants and our fiber connectivity coming our way next year. A lot of that will be on there. But one of the things that's critically important is, and I'm going to encourage anybody that's got access to the internet to do this. There will be a link to the UNH broadband mapping. The state has charged UNH to factually map all residential and commercial broadband speeds out of every location in the state. The FCC data is what's being relied upon right now for grants. The bulk of that data is wrong. I did a 2-hour study on some of the stuff about 3 weeks ago with about 30 households here in town. Lo and behold, everything showed up as, hey, you're served, which means they're not doing anything. The reality of it is these households were underserved or unserved, which means they didn't have anything, which means they should be getting some connectivity. And if we don't notify them to correct their map, it hurts us in the long run. So anybody that's willing to take that little tiny link, click it, click yes, it'll run the test, it automatically reports the test to UNH. It's a blind scenario, so there's no names, there's no nothing like that. It will record just the road and the speed. And it's really, really important because any speeds of 100 download and 20 upload, your internet is not achieving that. You are underserved under the state definition, which means we're eligible to be able to grab grant money to the ISPs to get connected. So I'm really hoping you'll help me with that. I did an email out to 50 people last week, about 15 of them responded. 2 weeks ago, 15 of them responded. Not one met the criteria to be served. And there was some speeds of like 6/3.
Right here.
Where is that box that we click? Where do we see that, Chuck? Did I miss that?
It's gonna be.
I'm gonna basically, when I send the information to Caitlin, I'm gonna make sure we have capability. I'm gonna ask Teresa to set something up on the front page. Because UNH made a nice web page that says, here's the link, click here, and all you have to do is open it up and click it, and automatically does the test. And anybody that's willing to do it multiple times, because your speeds change throughout the day. You know, running it at dinner time is probably not the optimal time, because that's the slowest time when everybody's home from work, kids are doing homework. But running it multiple times, multiple days, periodically, don't have to do it every day. UNH is going to be capturing every one of those entries for the next 5 years to create a factual map for the state of New Hampshire. And that's critically important for us down the road.
Do you use probably notify Facebook or something like that? With the word out?
When I work with Caitlin, I'll make sure I get stuff out to the different sites, because again, periodically just putting it up there, remind people, hey, could you go in and click the link, take the test. MLab is an independent nonprofit company off the West Coast. All they do is measure internet data and put it out there for people to see. And that's why UNH is using them as their force. So,
Wouldn't it be best to measure it right at dinner time when it's in public?
What I'm finding out, it makes really no difference when you measure it in this town.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the town office or the library where you're on fiber, you're not getting the speeds. Because Spectrum's doing a lot with their, hey, we can give you 300, 400 download. And a lot of people are doing that. If they can get 200, 300, great. But the upload speed's gotta be a minimum of 20. And there's nobody that I can find that's even close to 20 on that. Which means every single household I've looked at so far is underserved relative to the definition.
Does Spectrum got something up their sleeve? I see contractors for Spectrum everywhere.
We had Spectrum into the meetings. We were inviting in all of the ISPs, and those are the internet service providers, into the new district to come in and make their presentations. How can we work with you to help you get grants and everything else? Spectrum came in this last week, basically said they're working on some stuff that's going to hopefully improve their speeds up to 1 gigabyte by 2025. And a couple of people just made the comment, I would just as soon have you keep my speed up all day rather than disconnecting me multiple times a day. And that didn't go over real hot, because she didn't really understand it. But a lot of people have disconnection issues throughout the day. I use it 3 to 5 times a day. And you keep saying there's no issues. Competition is good. That's the reason Spectrum's doing what it's doing in town right now, because fiber's coming to our town next year. And they know they're gonna lose a lot of customers. So they're gonna try and do something to try and make it worth the while for you to stay around with them. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clark.
Anybody? Rose,
You know what I'm gonna ask, any update on town records?
I should have asked the chief, he was right here. I have no update, I should have asked, we should have asked, yeah. Okay.
See you next week, Will.
And a week after that.
I don't say modular. Yeah. Lauren on it.
All that.
Yeah,
Just promise that I'd ask every.
anybody else have anything? You get something else, Chuck? Oh, okay. Cause JT wants a non-public, so we'll do the non-public and that'll be it, we won't be doing anything else, so everybody can go home. Make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A32A.
Second,
Moved in second, all in favor?
Stevens, aye. Yeah, that's okay. Just thought I'd mention it while we're down.
Make a motion to come out of non-public,
Second,
moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Need to see. Any need to seal the minutes, right?
I don't see why. Shouldn't have to.
no,
Okay. Won't seal, no sealing the minutes. And then I make a motion to go in a non-public under RSA 91A32C reputation.
second,
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Stevens, aye. Rob,
Okay, make a motion to come out of non-public,
second,
moved in second, all in favor?
Stevens, aye.
Do you want to seal this or?
Can we make them kind of vague, or?
Can we seal it for a month until we get information back from Rebecca?
I would say do it for a month, I can still make them vague, so.
Get a report from her.
Yeah, we'll see them for a month,
Stay on for a month.
yeah.
And who wants to make the first motion on it?
I make a motion to seal the minutes for 30 days.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm making a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I'd make that,
Second,
moved in second, all in favor?
aye, aye.
Aye. Thank you, man.
Thank
too,
you.
Caitlin.
Thank you.
Thank you.